So hello my darlings. Today we're getting it on. Hello my darlings and welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing another Hail to the King review. This one on Rage. As I've said a million times before with these videos, I feel like these are more of a discussion than they are a review because most of it is just me going back over all the things that I thought about each story as I read it. So there's not much of a review here for anybody. You're not going to watch this video and think that I'm telling you one way or another that you should read this book. I think that these videos are more for both of us that have read said book to discuss how we feel about it. So don't expect any type of intellectual insight into this, and obviously there'll probably be spoilers because I'm just not in the mood to worry too much about not adding spoilers. Rage was Stephen King's fourth novel, however it was written under the pen name Richard Bachman, being Richard Bachman's first novel. And the novel itself actually has a pretty strange history, besides the point that it was written under Stephen King's pen name. Before I began this read along, I actually didn't know anything about Rage. I had never heard anything about the story or what it was about or anything like that. I just knew that it was a Bachman book and that was about it. So when I started telling people, oh, I've just finished The Shining, my next book is Rage, suddenly I had a lot of King fans that were like, oh, I'm excited for you to read this. I want to see what your opinion is on Rage. This is awesome. You're gonna love it or hate it, whatever. So I finally started hearing some of the backstory about it, about Stephen King taking it out of print because of the story matter, because it was about a school shooter. And because, do you mind? It's about a school shooter, and I might have the information wrong, but I had heard that what are you doing, Salem? Buddy, chill, okay? Anyway, I heard that King took the book out of publication once it was found in the locker of a school shooter. I forget which shooting it was. I can understand why he would do that given the subject matter, but I also think that this happens to be a really amazing book, which is funny because I didn't expect to like it, actually. And I don't know why, because even once I heard what it was necessarily about, I don't know. The only Bachman book I have read is Thinner. And Thinner was just kind of flat for me. So I guess I kind of put all of the Bachman books into that category. I was like, oh, well, he sort of just threw his leftovers to the pen name. And obviously I was wrong with the Rage, or with Rage, not the Rage. I haven't read the other ones yet. I haven't read anything else other than Thinner and Rage. But Rage blew me away. Let's begin first off with this book being very, very short. to even be a novel. I read it in one day, one sitting. I could not put it down. It is very fast paced, but also very in depth. And I liked it so much. I love the backstory. I love this character. This main character is, I don't even know how to explain it. It's one of those things where you almost wonder if he is crazy in the first place, because he'll say something or do something and you're like, well, if I was in that situation, I might do the same thing. So then you begin to question yourself. And I love books like that. I love characters like that. Our main character for Rage is Charlie. Now, just a little insight. For some reason, I have a thing for characters named Charlie. If your book has a character named Charlie, I'm probably going to love him. There's just something about when people name characters Charlie that I love. Charlie bit me. Charlie bit my finger. But if you have a character and his name is Charlie, for some reason, I'm immediately going to love him. So, Charlie being the lead character in Rage, I just immediately fell in love with him. And I hurt for him because his childhood was something that just sort of breaks me in a way. To have a parent that you just know doesn't love you. Abuse, even to the smallest degree. It's just, I don't know, it's tragic. And I love when we're open and honest about that type of conversation, which I think is something that Rage would be very good for, is opening the doors to that conversation of what drives a person to do something so insane and so heartless. Because people are products of their environment. You can't hurt someone and break them and then expect nothing to happen. It doesn't work like that. I have yet to see Joker, but I sort of have heard that it goes along that same lines of what can drive a person to become what they've become. And I think that Rage is a good example of that. And I also think that it's one of those things that is really explored in the book, is how our situations in life and the things that we go through in life mold us into who we are. There's a line in the book, I forget which female character said it, where she says that they'll just make you dirty like they are, that the entire world just wants to make you dirty like it is, and that's why she won't have sex. And I don't know, there's so many times in that book where it just stops like that, and I physically had to stop reading the page and was just taking that journey inside, thinking about stuff like that, because it's powerful. And I think it's so crazy because I did not expect to like this book as much as I did, and I love it. The only problem I really have with Rage is that, I don't know, the ending just sort of breaks me. And I don't know why, because I expected that ending. Like, I knew it was going to have some sort of ending like that. I know how King is, and I know how some of his endings are. They're not always 100%. I don't know, I didn't expect that one to break me quite like it did. Rage is also set up very neatly which doesn't always happen in King novels, to be honest. King's not always very neat, and I understand that one. I'm not very neat myself when it comes to writing. I think sometimes the ideas get jumbled and you lose track. But with Rage, it is very neat, and it's very quick, and it's very fast-paced, even though a lot of it is backstory. They're going back and forth between what Charlie is doing and Charlie's memories and the stories of his memories that he's telling his classmates, and then the classmates sharing things about themselves with Charlie, with the exception of one character who, in the beginning, I did want to root for. The way that this character was described. I think his name is Ted. Ted Jones. Yes, the good American name. Ted Jones. I wanted to root for him. I did. I wanted to be on the side of the good guy. I didn't want to feel for the school shooter. I wanted to be Team Ted. But as the book went on, I related to Charlie. Shut up! There's a cat in my ceiling. It's Tony. I had my troubles with The Shining, and I had my troubles with Carrie. And I obviously adored Salem's Lot. But just catlet. But I think that Rage is the one that has lit my fire back for King's writing. Because obviously I love Salem's Lot. I enjoyed reading it, but most of the Salem's Lot that I read this year, I listened to through an audiobook. And sometimes, for me, that takes away a little bit of the experience. It's usually more practical than it is enjoyable for me. Not all the time, but sometimes. So, the fact that with Rage, I sat down and I could not put this book down. I kept flipping the page, reading this book, just laid out in bed, under the blankets, reading this book, without even thinking about it. I think it lit that reading fire back in me, and I really needed that, to be honest. One of my goals this year was to read more, and I feel like I haven't done that. I feel like I've lost that passion for reading, which is a horrible thing for a writer to do. So I'm glad that I finally was able to read Rage, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. And I think that's all I've got for you guys today. So, if you've read Rage and you want to talk about something that I didn't touch on, comment section is open down below. Make sure that you subscribe to my channel. Give this video a big thumbs up. In the description below, my books are for sale. The link to my books, to my Ko-fi page, my blog, though I don't use it, my Twitter and Instagram handle are down there, and anything else that you could ever hope to find from moi. And I think that's all I've got for you guys. So, I'll see you next time. Kisses, my darlings.